We talk to a lot of companies here at AGN, and one that know a lot of what's going on in the aerospace and defence sector is Alderman & Co. And I'm delighted to have William Alderman, aka Bill, here with me. It's great to have you.
We do have a unique vantage point, Bryn. We're selling companies in what we call the lower middle market. And as that broker, that investment banker, M&A banker, selling those companies, roughly $100 million in value, not the billion-dollar companies, but the smaller companies. The companies that when we're walking the show, people talk about supply chain and supply chain problems. Those are our clients. They are selling to those that sell to Boeing. They may sell to a second tier that sells to a first tier, but they're in the supply chain. And when we're selling those companies, we have to do all the due diligence to know them before we help them talk with the buyers. So you are right. We know a lot. We don't know a lot about everything, Bryn, but we know a lot about the companies we're selling. Yeah. And we'll sell 4 or 5 companies in a year in different pieces of the market. And so we have a pretty unique vantage point from the bottom up of what's going on.
One of the things we've seen in recent years is supply chain issues. What have you identified at Alderman & Co.?
The way we see the market, and it's complex and every company's different, but there is a broad brush that applies here. And the pandemic, although it's behind us, thank God, right? And we're all glad that we could be here, and they canceled the shows and all the rest that we had to deal with. We couldn't see family, aunts, uncles, business people. We're out of that. We're back, and we can travel, and travel is up now. We are at above pre-pandemic levels. Yeah. We are at record levels, which is wonderful, and we've been there for a while. But in the production of aircraft and aircraft systems, we're still struggling. And the analogy that I'd like to make really quickly is, if you remember watching the television the summer of 22 when travel came back, the news every night contained this airport is having real problems. All the flights are canceled. There was nothing wrong with the aircraft or the crew. The problem was there weren't the right people at the right places at the right time to snap back air travel, and it snapped back. It went down 80% and came back to almost normal overnight, right? And the airport struggled first, because the first thing people did was buy a ticket, go to the airport, and 3 days later you can fly. Well, when an airline says travel's coming back so fast, we need aircraft, well, it's not tomorrow. It's 18 to 24 months to take delivery. Well, guess where we are today? We're 18 to 24 months after the pandemic snapped back, and we have production problems. And it's staffing. The number one issue right now is it may be at the forging mill, so you can't get forgings. But why can't you get forging? Because the forging mill doesn't have the right people. And so what we're seeing down at the grassroots level is a slow recovery of human talent. Too much human talent retired during the pandemic, and it wasn't the junior talent that retired that mattered. You can replace junior people. How do you replace someone with 30 years of knowledge?
With the focus that we have in the industry on sustainability and net zero, jet zero by 2050, how do organizations go about recruiting new talent and keeping the existing talent that has that knowledge base?
We don't deal in venture capital.
Yeah.
So the Liliums, the Jobies of the world, they're too big for us, right? I gave you size. But more importantly, it's venture capital. It's new technology. That's not our expertise. Our expertise is in production today, and that's supply chain. So I may know a lot, but I don't know everything, Bryn, okay? But sustainable, for us, it's not we're going to go to hydrogen. For us, It's SAF. So what do? You take Jet A, and you add 20% SAF. Then you go to 40% SAF. Then you go to 80% SAF. So our worldview is the beginnings of the move, at the mature, easy, gentle, safe side. I'm a commercial pilot. All right, and so I don't like it when things change rapidly, because everything I do in my aircraft that I fly is proven safe.
Yeah.
So you want to make a small change, have at it. And I'll fly on a VFR day, and I'll try out that new system, right? And that's what we're doing with sustainables, and it makes a lot of sense. And if you talk to the Liliums and the others of the world, they'll say it's 10 years out. Why? Because they're intelligent, and they know in this business where we have lives at stake, we move slow. So for us, we're seeing SAFs, and your blended fuels. And that's the piece of the market where we're seeing some activity.
We're experiencing a very tricky geopolitical situation at the moment. How are you seeing that out there on the floor? How's it representing itself?
2 markets we live in, aerospace and defense, right? And the civilian market is not being affected meaningfully by geopolitical risks. China and their change in their posture towards Airbus and Boeing is an issue, but there's so much demand right now that we don't see that as a driving primary issue on civilian. On the defense side, the U.S. budget is over $800 billion, right? We have a change in administration, possibly, coming up, definitely, because Biden is not running again, so we have some change of administration. But the Biden-Harris ticket may win. I'm not going to politics. But the defense budget in the U.S., most analysts believe, regardless of the election, is not going to go down. It may go up a little bit more than another, but it's $800 billion, okay? Why? Because the world's not safe right now, right? The benefit we had during the Clinton administration of a fall of the wall and peace, that's gone. That's really gone, right? NATO is probably going to be spending more than they used to, right? You can argue they should or whatever, but not politics, just need. NATO has to spend more. There's a real threat from Russia. There's a real threat from China. The Middle East is unstable. You could say it's all Iran's fault. You might be right when you say that, but the Middle East is unstable. And so I think we're going to see strong defense spending, and that's what we're seeing in the supply chain. We're seeing stability. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but we're seeing economic stability in the supply chain because the world is unstable.